welcome to another edition of our daily news program brought to you by Canal Algérie, and in today's major headlines. Algeria qualifies to the final game of the CHAN competition, and the President of the Republic congratulates our local team for their meritorious victory. The prospects of cooperation in the field of energy and the President of the Republic's state visits to Russia at the heart of a phone call between the President Tebboune and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. The President of the Republic receives the personal representative of the Qatari Emir Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed Al Thani. And the Army General Saeed Shingriha chairs the opening of the proceedings of the annual meeting of the Armed Equipment Executives. Good evening and welcome back. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, held a phone conversation with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, during which they discussed the relations binding the two countries, notably the prospects of cooperation in the energy sector. The two heads of state tackled on the occasion the Algerian-Russian Joint Commission due to be held soon, and discussed as well the state visit of the President of the Republic to the Russian Federation slated for next May. Still with the President of the Republic, who received on Tuesday at the Presidency of the Republic the personal representative of the Qatari Emir Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed Al Thani, an audience that took place in the presence of the Principal Private Secretary of the Republic, Abdelaziz Khalaf. Following the brilliant victory of our national football team over Niger in the semi-final round of the CHAN competition, the President of the Republic congratulated the prodigies of Majid Bouguera for their qualification to the final game, an honorable career and a deserved qualification to the final game of the CHAN. Congratulations to our national team, its manager and his staff, and to everyone who backed them. You deserve it, wrote the President of the Republic on his official Twitter account. And as we mentioned earlier, the national football team progressed to the final game after trouncing the Nigerian side with 5-0 in the semi-final game held in Oran Stadium. They will take on next Saturday the Senegalese team, which triumphed over Madagascar with 1-0. All the best for our national team. And the football team manager Majid Bouguera expressed his immense joy following his qualification, wishing a better performance for his side next Saturday in the final game. Let's have a listen.
Thank God for this qualification to the final game. Thanks to fans and also the players who stuck to the instructions. We knew the Nigerian team's strong points and we prepared very well accordingly. We pressured their players and dominated. We deserve to play the final match. Our first objective is reached and the second is to snatch the trophy. Every match we play is considered as a final since the beginning. We worked hard. The local players have great ambitions and the spectators inspired them. We hope to attain all our objectives.
For his part, the Army General Saeed Shingriha, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, congratulated the prodigies of Majid Bouguera for their heroic achievement and their brilliant qualification to the final game of the CHAN competition. In a different topic, the Army General Saeed Shingriha, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, chaired on Tuesday at the Higher School for Equipment in the 1st Military Region the opening of the proceedings of the annual meeting of the Armed Equipment Executives. Further details with Ines Killo.
After the welcoming ceremony and in the presence of the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Defense, the commanders of the forces of the National Gendarmerie, the commander of the 1st Military Region, the heads of departments of the Ministry of National Defense, and the General Staff of the National People's Army, the directors and the heads of central services, the General of the Army, followed a presentation by the Central Director of Equipment on the assessment of the activities carried out under the program of preparation of the forces for the year 2022, as well as the activities in progress in the field of the support of the units of the Battle Corps of the National People's Army.
يجدر بي في المستهل.
Subsequently, the Army General delivered an orientation speech, followed by video conference by the executives of Central Director of Equipment working at the level of the units of the 6 military regions, during which he expressed his joy of chairing the annual meeting of the equipment executives, which was organized by the Central Directorate of Equipment in order to assess the extent of the implementation of the annual plan for the year 2022 and to draw up a comprehensive summary of the ongoing activities in the field of assigning battle strength units of the National People's Army and to analyze it in order to find the appropriate solution to the encountered problems and remove the recorded shortages by exhorting the participants to take advantage of this meeting to value the acquired experiences.
أجمل مكونات الجيش الوطني الشعبي. وفي هذا الصدد بالذات فإنني أحرص كثيرا.
Army General also emphasized the major interest he gives to principle of function and operational complementarity between the different components of the National People's Army, stressing that the logistic networks being the main provider of the National People's Army Battle Corps with everything it needs in due time and place and with the required quantities. He also said that we are perfectly convinced that the readiness, the moral and competitive capacity of the soldier depend largely on the reliability and the performance of the logistic networks.
فإنني على يقين تام أن قدرة الفرد العسكري ومستواه المعنوي والنفسي والقتالي ترتبط كثيرا بكفاءة هذه الشبكات الإسنادية وبمصداقية أدائها.
The Army General then announced the official opening of the meeting before inaugurating the psychological course of the combat, where he followed a presentation performed by the students of the Higher School of Weapon Equipment in the 1st Military Region.
طلب ضباط الصف المتعاقدين كما نلفت سيادة
In the light of the new law facilitating and encouraging investment, the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency, in charge of all procedures concerning the field, is finally operational and will work with the different public and private organizations. Further details with Najah Diyar.
2023 is expected to be the year of investment with excellency. While the new investment law has simplified project implementation procedures, it has above all made it possible to put on track a series of incentives with the view of creating an attractive business climate. Among the key measures, the establishment of the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency, which replaces the National Investment Development Agency, placed under the Prime Minister's supervision. The new arrangements have already borne fruit, and the number recorded of the new investments testify the dynamic dimensions already taking place. From November 1st till January 19th, we had recorded 850 investment projects, with a number stated by the investors amounting to 250 billion dinars and 22,000 job opportunities. The advantages granted by the state would only be granted after the entry into operation of the project, which will be subject to rigorous monitoring by the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency. We go out in field missions to check the investment operationality, as well as to demand detailed planning and objectives in order to encourage and accompany the investors, and the creation of a single desk platform meant to facilitate the investment procedures for the investors. New measures greatly hailed by the economic operators, who are delighted with the facilitations granted, and the bureaucratic hindrances lifting, which will liberate the spirit of initiative and favor the act of investing, which creates wealth and employment.
In other news, the President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, received on Tuesday the President of the National Council for Palestine, Rouhi Fatouh, an opportunity to discuss the efforts deployed for the effective achievement of the President of the Republic's initiative for the unification of the Palestinian ranks. For his part, the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, received on Tuesday the President of the Senegalese National Assembly, Amadou Mame Diop. The audience was an opportunity to review several issues that interest the two countries, namely the fight against terrorism in the region, in addition to several international issues such as the Palestinian file. Still with the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, who equally received on Tuesday the President of the Pan-African Parliament, Fortune Sharon Bira, with whom he reviewed the cooperation relations between the two institutions and the means to further develop them. And the President of the Pan-African Parliament, Fortune Sharon Bira, was also received by the Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, with whom he discussed the consolidation of bilateral cooperation via an efficient coordination between the African Commission for Energy and the services of the Ministry of Energy and Mines. According to a communique released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Algeria firmly condemns the two terrorist attacks which targeted a combat unit in northern Burkina Faso and civilians in the south of the country, an attack which resulted in the death and the injury of dozens. In his capacity of a coordinator for the African Union for the fight and prevention against terrorism and violent extremism in Africa, Algeria highlighted the necessity to take place the fight against this scourge as an international top priority. Algeria also denounced the suicide bombing in Pakistan, which targeted a mosque in Pakistan, causing the death of 90 people and the injury of more than 200 people so far. The European Parliament unanimously voted to deprive the two socialist European MPs of their immunity, namely the Belgian Mark Tarabella and the Italian Andrea Cozzolino, both accused of corruption. More details with me, Sakibash.
The Legal Affairs Committee of the European Parliament voted anonymously for the lifting of immunity for the two socialist European MPs involved in the corruption of the Continental Institution in Morocco. The two MPs are the Belgian Mark Tarabella and the Italian Andrea Cozzolino. The Belgian justice called for the lifting of the parliamentary immunity this January, and according to the parliamentary spokeswoman, this green light should be confirmed on Thursday during a plenary voting session. Accused of belonging to a criminal organization, money laundering and corruption. 4 others have been arrested, namely the former Italian socialist, European MP Pier Antonio Panzeri, the Greek elected socialist Eva Kaili, Italian parliamentary assistant Francesco Giorgi, and the Italian Niccolò Fica Talamanca, manager of a non-governmental organization. In total, the Belgian investigators seized 1.5 million euros cash at Panzeri and Kaili's houses. Francesco Giorgi explained to the judge that the European MP Andrea Cozzolino had contacts with the Moroccan ambassador Abderrahim Atmoun. Under a lot of pressure, Andrea Cozzolino quit from the Social Parliamentary Commission on the program Pegasus and the Joint Parliamentary Committee Morocco-European Union. The Italian MP urged the committee in charge of regional development of the European Parliament to withdraw a series of amendments, including 2 related to Morocco.
It is worth recalling that an investigation launched last December by the Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office exposed Morocco Gate, a true scandal of corruption that affected institutions, revealing the plots used by Morocco to influence the European Parliament's decisions.
And in a new development, the Parliamentary Commission in charge of the Pegasus scandal involving Morocco will hold a meeting on the 9th of February. And with that, our today's news edition comes to an end. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.